So, Avi, this is your first time in Georgia. Welcome. What have been your impressions of the summit so far, and what do you think makes it a unique gathering for the global medtech community?
Well, so let me start just by thanking you for giving me the honor and privilege of being here. It's been an absolute amazing last few days, and having it in this location, having a meeting like this, which really, I feel, and many of the people that I've been talking with share the same sentiments. This has been a very personal and small type of gathering of experts in the field, entrepreneurs, investors, clinicians, and it's been a very manageable and, quite frankly, personable meeting where the time that has been spent together, sharing thoughts, sharing ideas, talking about innovation and talking about the medtech ecosystem that you're building here in Georgia has been real. It's small and, again, manageable. And the time that we all spent together was very compact, and the conversations just flowed naturally because many of us knew each other beforehand, and quite frankly, you chose a great group of people to bring here to the Georgia Innovation Summit.
And you've been at Orchestra Biomed for coming up to 3 years now. At the company, you've built a strong reputation for collaborative innovation. In your opinion, how do partnerships with other companies and clinicians help accelerate development and adoption of breakthrough therapies?
That's a tough question. This is a tough business, and I think if you look at the statistics, the majority of companies don't succeed. And so partnerships are valuable in many different ways, everything ranging from networking and building relationships to source capital, finding the right regulatory advisors and guides to help establish a regulatory path and a strategy to bring a technology to market. And like most things, nobody was born knowing how to take a product from idea to the clinical arena. And so having big brothers, big sisters who have experienced successes and failures in this space becomes really important. You know, people say often that you learn the most from the failures. And so surrounding oneself with partners and establishing partnerships that help take an idea to the clinical community through the right strategic guidance and relationships is critically important. Nobody can do this on their own, and that's why partnerships and relationships are really the foundation of this business.
Great, and having led programs from early concept to clinical validation, what advice would you give to startups working on their first-in-human studies?
I guess the first advice I would say is don't take shortcuts, right? Cutting corners most often is not the right thing to do and is not going to lead to success. I would say expect the unexpected, right? So that's why this innovation cycle and the iterative approaches to developing the technology are important. So thinking about sort of early studies and first-in-human studies, it's important to establish partnerships, like we just talked about, with regulators and make sure that everybody's on the same page. And it's always good to begin those conversations early. I would also say that it's critically important in an early study, an early feasibility study, a first-in-human study, to select the right centers, the right operators, the right clinicians and advisors. And I think that's what you're building here in Georgia. You know, it's now thought of as a place, right, globally. People think about Georgia and think about doing studies here because you've built the infrastructure. You know, there's thousands of hospitals around the world, but only a handful that are appropriately established and built in order to be able to execute early first-in-human studies. And again, my advice to entrepreneurs and to startup founders and people who are focused on first-in-human studies is to find those right centers, find the right location where the study can be executed to the highest level. That way your odds of success and the results from those first-in-human studies will be differentiated.